Hi there, I'm Colin Mitchell. I'm the Senior Director of Priority Engine with TechTarget. Thanks again for coming today. I'll make this quick introduction for our next guest. Barry Magee is the Director of Business Intelligence and Transformation at Citrix. I've worked really closely with Barry over the last 18 months over phone calls, in meetings in their office in Dublin, with our customer success team, with his teams, and we've been doing a lot of exciting things. Barry's definitely on sort of the cutting edge of using data-driven intelligence to drive business outcomes, and I think he'll share a lot with that. I'll be as a resource with you after with Barry, and we're happy to talk about how we can infuse these sort of practices within your own organization right away. So with that, I'll hand it over to Barry, and I'll jump back on stage now.
Thanks, Colin. Where's the clicker gone? So, good morning, everybody. I'm going to cover it's really a story about how to, well, I've actually changed the storyline a little bit. It's now about how to make marketing more relevant, okay? It's a bit of a story about an 18-month journey that Citrix has been on to basically weaponize data from within the marketing organization, but not just for marketing, across the entire company. Okay, and moving away from maybe just thinking of marketing as, leads into the funnel into the pipe, chase up the pipe, sales, pick up our leads, and how do you completely change the paradigm of how marketing becomes central to the business in your organization, okay? So, a little bit of background. So I'm with Citrix about a year and a half. I've got a sort of funny background. I'm a mixed bag of different things. I was with IBM for 15 years. I've been in sales. I've been a sales leader. I've been in strat ops. I've a bit of a technical bent. I run marketing for marketing ops for Citrix, but I also own business intelligence. Okay, so I've got this funny thing going on, a mixed bag, as I say. So about a year and a half ago, I was approached to come to Citrix, and my boss, the lady who interviewed me, is this lady down here, Kathleen, who's a CMO. And the job I was given was to make marketing more data-driven. Okay, Citrix marketing is evolving from quite a traditional marketing organization, very event-led. Now we're building up a lot of capability around digital and channel marketing and SDF and all this type of stuff. So that was the job. So I arrived and, okay, I've done sales, I understand lots of different things. Let's give marketing a go. It was a sort of a new adventure for me. So shortly after I arrived, I was asked by the board to go and present the grand vision I had for making marketing more data-driven, and I had a bit of a battle plan. I kept meeting people. I kept getting this, are you sure you're marketing only? But as a CEO, I think he thinks there's something else going on. I said, really? And I kept saying to my boss, no, it's definitely marketing. So before we went to the board, everything was being rehearsed to death, and I eventually got to go to my briefing with Sharif, and 2 minutes into the call, first time I've met famous Sharif, and obviously I'm a little bit nervous. 2 minutes in, he says the words, Barry, I will stop you right there. I have many problems in my business. Marketing doesn't make the top of the list by a long shot at the moment. Because you need to make the entire business more data-driven, okay? So at this stage, I'm going, oh my God, what do I do? And I have this moment of panic, okay? And I'm what? Okay. So it was less a discussion about the funnel, but more about how do you make all activity more effective, more optimized, and address problems that occur right across the organization from within marketing. It was an interesting dilemma I had. So luckily, I had my sort of mixed background, so I could dig in a little bit. And then to give you a little bit of context, what I was able to do then was to dig into the scars of my career over the previous, in particular, 8 years. But, I'm in sales and marketing about 25. And about 8 years ago, I was running the technical services business for IBM across EMEA, and because I had this sort of a little bit of an analytical sort of disposition in my head, I couldn't understand why we were only talking to customers who had renewals. I could see that, I figured out the maths on it, and it meant that we were only talking to about 2% of our customers every given quarter. So why don't we talk to customers who have different needs at different points in time? And I was told, no, don't talk to them, because they'll cancel. I said, this is crazy. So I played around with a sort of an approach, which was to identify customers based not on what we as IBM saw as their need, but what the customer presented as different needs as such. The mechanism worked, and we were able to, a little bit like Mike referred to, is to start to profile customer and their behavior instead of the inside-out view of, oh, customer X has a renewal, talk to customer X, and try and sell them more stuff. So we switched the paradigm a little bit, and guess what? It actually worked. So over the course of a couple of years then, I came out of the sales role, moved into a sort of I did different things, but I basically ended up owning data strategy for digital for IBM. And we took this approach and tried it in completely different businesses, in a renewals business, in a services business, in a hardware business, in a software business, in a business development unit. Then moved across to Citrix. We've done it with marketing. We're doing resource planning. Where do you put salespeople? Where do you put marketing people? Where are the markets? Okay, so one thing I want to get across is, okay, so this methodology we're going to show you, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how we've done what we've done, and then literally just show you, do a demo. I don't want to shock you into going, oh, we can never do that, okay? The important thing is, it actually is, it's a journey. The truth is, build iteratively, okay? Understand use cases. Within a year and a half, we have quadrupled MQL to Opti lead conversion rates. We have grown marketing source pipeline 100%, okay? But equally significantly, we have completely changed how marketing works with sales. Marketing is now completely at the center of all pipeline build, okay? So, and data is at the center of it, and in particular, intent is an incredibly powerful weapon, but you need to know where to use it. There's multiple different use cases, and it's not just find me a segment, go do banner ads. There's multiple use cases, okay? So, the thing that we all, I think about really in terms of finding customers is there's really sort of 5 broad questions. Where's the customer? What's their problem? When should I talk to them? Which resource should I use? Should I go after a customer with an SDR or a BDR, to go after with field sales? Is it inside sales? Is it marketing? Is it an external agency? And then lastly is, well, for a given customer with a given problem, for a given team, what's the best way to engage? Do I go digital? Do I invite them to a nice event in the banker's hall? Do I invite them for golf? How do you do it? Is it a webinar? So these are all the different questions that you're trying to figure out, whether you're a sales professional, a marketing professional, inside sales, field sales, digital sales. It's this sort of complexity, okay? But there's a dynamic to pipeline build that is sometimes lost within the sort of heady mix of sales and marketing. Generally speaking, there's 2 types of pipeline build, okay? There's one-to-many, which is the traditional remit of marketing, okay? We go out and we do mass approaches, okay? But then the other side is the one-to-one pipeline build, which is predominantly sales and channel, okay? And of course, I think the majority of the audience here are marketing professionals, and everyone tends to assume that every company is a little bit like Mike's alluded to there, is like Netflix. But the truth is they're not. 95% of companies are traditional bricks and mortar companies whose dynamics look very, very different to these born in the cloud, super duper duper, Amazon. It is all looks awesome, but that's not really what we look like. We look very, very different. And if you look at pipeline dynamics, and this is Citrix a couple of years back, marketing was 10% of the overall mix. And a lot of tech companies, they're channel driven. Channel drives a huge amount of pipeline, or sales drives a huge amount of pipeline. So there's a point of reflection for sales and marketing about if the job of the company is to build more pipeline, where do you place your bets? You could spin your wheels and invest massive amounts of money, let's say in marketing, and you could double marketing, but it'll still only go from 10% to 15% or 20%. Are there uses for data, and in this case intent, in different ways? So one point of reflection is, okay, well, where should you place the effort in terms of building pipeline? And the other side, however, is the other bit I spend half my life on is we build all this pipeline and we give it to sales and it's atrophying. It's just sitting there. Pick up the leads. Pick up the leads. 63% of pipeline at a point in time just is sitting there at 10% odds. You make all this effort putting pipeline into the funnel, getting it over the sales, and then it just sits there. And you get into this constant dialogue of, marketing says to sales, pick up our leads, pick up our leads. And they say, well, your leads are no good, your leads are no good. Well, of course they're no good because you're not picking them up. And it goes into this constant cycle. Okay? So the net result of all of this is everybody is busy being busy. Everybody is literally spinning their wheels, doing stuff, and you actually look at the numbers, and productivity is a massive problem. Okay, think of all the effort you put in as marketeers to get your pipeline over to sales, and it just sits there. You go, oh. So, the truth is, most businesses are like this boot. Okay, think of your business like a cobbler's. Shoemakers for people who are non-millennials, okay? But here's the thing. You've got a small cobbler's business, and it's run in a small room in an office block. And there's 4 of you. One person does the leather uppers, one person does the soles, another person does the laces, and the 4th person counts the money, okay? Typical organization. Here's the thing, though. Most organizations, if you are not Netflix or Amazon or good friends with Spotify, the truth is you're in this room, but your business is lit up by there's 2 candles. There's 2 nice candles there, and you're working away. Hey, how you doing, Brent? Man, it's going, yeah, it's great. And you're working away, and you're all quite content in how you're doing. How are we doing on revenue? We're doing brilliant. We've grown 12% year on year, and so on and so forth. When you start to turn data on in a company, when you really start to become analytical and start this data-led transformation, the truth is what most companies do is, let's hire, a data scientist, or if you're someone bigger, you go, let's hire 100 PhD data scientists and we'll all be millionaires within 6 months. This is the fable that is sold in the industry. It is complete and utter rubbish, because the first thing that happens when you create transparency through analytics is the equivalent of walking into that cobbler's business, walking into the room, which is half lit, and literally flicking on the light switch. You say, hi guys. Oh, you're using candle. No, there's a light switch here. Flicking on a light switch and flooding the room with light, and you suddenly discover that half the soles are on at right angles to the uppers. The laces are completely skew-ways. They're not sitting in the eyelets at all. Half the cash is sitting outside the till. So the first thing you actually see is the operational dysfunctionality where things aren't connected up, and the fact there's leads sitting there, there's leads sitting in the funnel, and there's people not picking up stuff. It's a bit of a mess, and that's the truth of it. But if you don't start to become more analytical, you don't see it. People are just happy, just chugging along. A madman doesn't know he's mad, as they say, okay? So that's the truth of what happens when you become more analytical, and you need to be prepared for that. So you need to think of these things as a journey. was interested, Mike was making the second last chart where Mike was talking about the 10,000 dials one. I really like, because in the industry, I hope people, I mean, let's guess the number here is the average conversion rate for every 100 customers that you reach out to that convert into a BANT qualified opportunity is about 3 to 4%. And that's on a good day. Truthfully, it's closer to 2%. So I was sitting there doing the maths on mics, and I'm going, oh my God, 10,000 divided by 488. Okay, I didn't get there. That's it. Which means that it's 98% of the time you're either talking to customers or investing money on individuals who don't ever become anything. Okay? So that's the real issue. It's a productivity thing. So what I show you here is, this is a picture of how over the last couple of years that we've challenged that paradigm. Okay? So this bit over here is a time in IBM as we're evolving this methodology. This is me going into shock. This is me down here building it. And then over here, what we're doing in Citrix now in terms of completely challenging that baseline on performance. In Citrix right now, we are, over the last 18 months, we're now at 10% conversion rate. Okay? And actually run a campaign the last week with every single sales and marketing person across EMEA. I think we're at 18%, which means instead of 1 in 50 calls turning into an opportunity, 1 in 5. And in marketing, we tend to think of, conversion rate. But you know what? The bottom line is, it's time. Instead of taking 3 months to build the required pipeline to hit your revenue target, you can do it like in 3 weeks and spend the rest of the quarter on Facebook. That's what it means. Okay? It's as simple as that. Or go to the beach, go for a cycle on a Boris bike, whatever. And that's what this means. It's about time. So, what's this Edison thing? So the challenge that you're really addressing is the fact that, well, what does a customer look like? We don't really know what customers look like, what they're out there. Traditionally, we all get lists everywhere. The problem is not data. The problem is there's too much data. Everyone gets crappy lists. Okay? And equally, and I've seen this over so many years, is this very few organizations ever have a real feedback loop. We talk to these customers, these ones worked, these ones didn't, but we never know why. You might have a chat with your salesperson, BDRs, how did the list go? Oh, it was okay, got 12 opportunities. Any feedback? Well, contacts weren't great. It's not very structured, and you end up in this sort of, what's called like a Cobb's paradox. The definition of madness is to repeat the same behavior over and over again and expect a different outcome. Guess what? It's not going to change, and you're stuck in this maze of over time. And that's the biggest issue. This is a productivity killer. This absolutely, we're spending so much time and energy and budget on tools, on data, on lists, on stuff. It's busy being busy, okay? So what we have done in Citrix is you need to build something that is really gets to the core of effectiveness, okay? So same questions again. Show me where the market is. Where are the customers with use cases in a given territory, okay? But rank them. Don't just give me a list. Who's number 1? Who's number 2? Who's number 3? Who's number 4? Because it's about getting to those customers faster. Give me a reason, whether I'm a marketeer or whether I'm a salesperson, is why. Why should I talk to Colin Mitchell? A bit like Mike's picture there, that journey. Give me context. There's a direct correlation between the richer the picture, the richer the context, and the conversion rate into an opportunity and the revenue that hits the ledger. Okay. But guess what? Buying signals. Don't just show me customers who fit my use case. Show me the ones who are in an active buying cycle. As I say, 10% of the market is in the market at a particular point in time. Wouldn't it be interesting if you know exactly who they were? Welcome to our friends. And that is incredibly powerful. Again, it's about zeroing in. Instead of spray and pray and just drift netting out and trying to find customers, it's about really drilling in and being hyper laser targeted in what you do. And lastly is give me a feedback loop on what's working and what's not, so you can learn and get better and better and better. And this is this Project Edison that we've been talking about. Briefly, what we do is, I'm not going to go into it in too much detail at all, is so we spend, again, so I'm business intelligence, I sit inside marketing, and we buy data. We buy data from TechTarget, we buy data from HG, we work with Lattice, Dun & Bradstreet. We get data from different sources, okay? And then we sort of mix it all together in a little big blending bowl, okay? And then we start to model it and say, well, let's do two things. First off, let's build models for use cases. Who's the ideal customer for a bottle of water? They have, their male, you have all these attributes you look for. But don't just do it on the basis of an individual product. Then secondly, this bit here is look at a customer from all the different things in your portfolio. Don't just go ring a whole load of customers about product X and then ring them back 2 weeks later about product Y, and this is nuts. Okay, you don't have the resources to do that. You're tripping over yourself. Instead, look at customers from an all things considered perspective. Okay? So we do this type of modeling. But this is not sophisticated. We'll call it AI, but a couple of years ago, it was all done in a spreadsheet. Now it's just a spreadsheet in Power BI. Okay? This is not, it might sound sophisticated, but the truth is, it's not. Okay? Biz ops can do this stuff. It's really about prioritization. We then integrate all this stuff into Salesforce to create a workflow. Okay, here's the customers we think we should talk to, put them into Salesforce, call the customers, get some feedback. How hard can that be? All right? You think. So this is sort of, in a very abstract way, that's the definition, by the way, of machine learning. Think something works, do it, get feedback, update it. That's machine learning, okay? So, last slide, then I'll whiz through in a demo, okay? The critical thing is to understand your use cases. You must know that whether you're in sales or in marketing, there's different ways you go about and go after customers. Okay, you want to either show me all the customers in my territory so I can do planning for the year, or show me existing opportunities so I can expand existing opportunities I have in the pipeline, or accelerate the ones that are there already, or give me reasons to talk to my customer about. Give me the sales conversation. What's the compelling reason to act with a particular client? Or show me their install. What do they have from Citrix? What do they have from competitors? So there's multiple different use cases, whether you're a salesperson or a marketing person. There is no vanilla answer. You must think of your customers, your internal customers, as having different jobs to be done at a given point in time. Okay? And the original version of this slide I used to do had TechTarget around intent. Well, you know what? TechTarget's everywhere now in Citrix. Okay, and I'll come back to that point because this customer success is a critical piece. Don't just buy the flat file. Don't just go, whoever your sales exec is with TechTarget, say, oh, thanks very much, and then go and, okay, let's do some campaigns. Innovate with your customer success team, so Colin and I bounce off each other, and we found different ways to drop the intent data into different use cases, okay? So let me switch over and do a demo now and show you what this sort of looks like. And I've just got one slide after this that will wrap up. Okay, so let me go back home here for a second. Am I on screen yet? Right, okay. So this is Edison. It's a Power BI skin that sits in all this data with all these models in it. Okay? Each of these tiles represents a slightly different use case. Now, in this case, this is a sales use case. We've got our marketing team probably has about 35 people in EMEA, but guess what? We've got 450 sales folks in EMEA. Okay? Priority Engine is in the hands of every single sales field sales, digital sales, sales engineer at the moment, sales support, channel managers are all looking for it, haven't given it to them yet. That'll end up getting us up a much bigger number. So again, my point here is our use cases with this sort of stuff is not just the guy who runs digital marketing. It's everywhere, okay? So I won't go into them too much, but there's an overall territory view. I'm looking at one particular seller here. You can flick around. And let's say this use case here for pipeline. And let's say, remember that bit at the bottom? Oh, we create all this pipeline, we give it to sales, and it just sits there, all right? This view here says, as a seller, show me all the opportunities in my current pipeline that are open. And if there's anything you can tell me that will help me either expand this opportunity or accelerate it. Total Global IT Services, they've got a Project X-ray going on here, whatever this stuff is. Over here, oh look, we've got intent. Oh, that's interesting. I've got an opportunity. Was I even aware that there's other people in this buying cycle? Okay, so this is the acceleration use case.
So people know that's because the intent is TechTarget.
Sorry, we're plugged in here into TechTarget, so as well as using Priority Engine, we consume the data on a weekly basis. We plug it into Power BI so we can see which customers have intent from TechTarget, okay? So that's show me how to expand and accelerate my existing pipeline for sales. Next one then is the dedicated intent view. I am David Bonnet, who's a seller in France. Show me my territory. By the way, if I just go back for 1 second, David Bonnet has 600 customers in his account, in his territory. Where do I start? Well, here's an idea. You've got 24 customers in your territory who are in buying cycles, thanks to the intent from TechTarget. And I can see the patterns. What are they researching? Okay, a lot in workspace, a lot in networking, the stuff we're interested in. We go in here, and look at here's all here's his customers. I can rank them based here on how well they fit the Citrix use cases, but over here on the right, I've got a nice little heat map to show me what buying signals are currently demonstrating. Okay, and again, without doing the demo on that, you can click through, and I know, happy days, I'm into Priority Engine, and I can see exactly who that is. Second use case. Third use case is we're doing a blitz at the moment where every single sales and marketing person in EMEA is doing a sales blitz on SD-WAN. Big play for Citrix at the moment. And looking at David's territory here, and I can see he's already worked these through. Okay, so this call down here is basically, it's the equivalent, it's the outbound equivalent of a lead. So we're saying, here's a customer who fits a use case, there's some intent, go talk to them. Okay, this is what we're getting 18, 19, 20% conversion rates on at the moment. And you can see here, David's sort of gone down through. Look, second customer he's gone into here, boom, Opti. Second customer. Okay, Thales fits our use case for SD-WAN, and I can go into, this is how we integrate the HG stuff. So we can see the customer, we can see how much they spend, we can see their install, what products they have. I can go in here, see their enterprise applications. So when I'm doing this is I'm looking at their fit. Do they fit the Citrix use case? Interesting. But now I go back and say, okay, well, these guys seem to fit, but do they have a buying signal? Oh, yes, they do. Click in here, go directly into Priority Engine. Thales goes in, okay, go down, okay, SD-WAN, one of our topics. I scroll down and go, who's going on? I've got customers here. Michael Brown has downloaded our content. Well, that's not really a huge thing for us because I'm more interested in the buying group, to Mike's point. Okay, Oliver's in here. I click on him. I can see obviously his LinkedIn profile. But what I love looking at is down here. What are they looking at? What are the things? This is what helps give a seller the rich context to pick up the phone with confidence and talk to that client. I know who they're looking at. Why are they not looking at Citrix? Oh, they're looking at Silver Peak. I know what that product's about, so I know therefore what's in their mind. The sales team are devouring this. Literally, I cannot keep up with the demand for Priority Engine. Okay? At the moment, this, I mean, I'm going to take a risk and look at it here in the background. I might come back to it in a moment, and I'll show you live. I mean, the conversion rates out of this are literally off the grid, okay? So let me come back and just finish up on the slide here on a couple of, just a couple of points to leave you with, okay? In terms of using data, what is quite unusual with Citrix and marketing, and Citrix is business intelligence sits inside marketing. But marketing is a team who have budget. What's to stop any of you who are in marketing roles using that budget to become, let's say, the center of excellence for intelligence for your company? It's not just about the funnel, okay? The other thing is this idea of iteratively find ways to help different stakeholders in your organization. Sales, marketing, engineering with data. Why could marketing not be the center of excellence for intelligence? You're the guys who have all the data. Sales don't have budget. Engineering don't have budget. You guys do. It's not about the funnel. Funnel, I mean, if you're a standard bricks and mortar company, marketing is maybe 10, 15, 20% of total pipeline. You could double your number and you're still knocking at the door trying to be relevant. Maybe there's a different way to create value. We use intent, as you've seen, not just to build pipeline in the traditional marketing way, and let's segment, find customers, blah, blah, blah. But now, at the moment, the 500 million of pipeline that Citrix has that is not marketing driven, is there a way I can use intent data to accelerate that pipeline and become a hero to the CEO? Absolutely. And that's where Citrix marketing is right now. Our CMO is in the middle of absolutely everything, and not just the marketing bit, not just the 10% bit, which, by the way, now is 15, 16, 17%. The other key piece I mentioned already is when you work with, whether it's TechTarget or any of your partners, the thing about data is crude oil. Whether it's intent data from TechTarget or technographics from HG or whoever else you're working with, it's crude oil. It is absolutely critical that you challenge your vendors. I love challenging Colin Mitchell, okay? It gives me great pleasure in life. But think like a hackathon. We all constantly say, Colin, can you do this? Can you say, oh, I'll ask Lucy. And Lucy, oh, Lucy, can you do this? He's on again. And you actually force yourself to innovate and to find different ways to create value, okay? The other thing is this whole thing about intent. Instead of just using it to fill your marketing funnel, why don't you package it as a service? Insight as a service for the company. Sell intent to the sales community. Use this and package it in different ways. We haven't got there yet, but is there a way, like with these sales blitzes, even though it's sales in a call down, could that be counted as marketing sourced? Maybe it could. I think what, you're an awful lot more relevant. And this last point then is, use the fact that marketing has budget to not just look at marketing pipeline, but become like a proper center of intelligence for the company overall. Okay, which you become incredibly relevant. Marketing in Americas for Citrix runs all pipeline build. Even if it's sales doing the physical calling, they're the one who weaponize it. Okay, and EMEA, we've completely transformed that as well. The other pieces, again, as I say, don't think of data as an end product. Oh, I got a list from a vendor. Nah. Data is crude oil, and you need to weaponize it. You need to get it into the DNA of it. You need to challenge your business to change its practices. You need to work in different ways. One thing that was sort of bubbled up a lot through Mike's talk is, I'd say it's your job in marketing in particular to challenge the biases that exist in how decisions are made. Where the guy comes and says, oh, here's my list of profiles as the IT director. It's that, no, it's not. What do you mean, no, it's not? Because we've got the data to show you that's not what the buying journey looks like now. That is not what the customers look like now. I used to love doing this in IBM, where you get these, gold, brass-buttoned guys who've been in the company for 30 years tell me exactly who wants to buy a mainframe. And we go, do all our stuff, and we come back and say, the market isn't there. The market is there, 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 there. Use data to challenge bias. Don't become a Best Buy. Don't become a Maplin's. Don't become a Kodak. Become a Netflix and start it from within marketing. Okay? I'm not going to show you how much we spent. Okay? But traditional marketing ROI, and these are, you look at ROI and so on and so forth. Yeah, you got a budget, you spend stuff, you build pipeline. Okay, traditional ROI, let's say 19-1 in many cases. With a spend of say a couple $100K across different vendors and different bits and pieces. Okay, as of a couple of minutes ago, we generated we're about 65 million. Simply because we reduced process inefficiency. We've got away from 2% conversion rates to 10, 15, 20. And using intent is an incredibly powerful way of doing that. Okay, so that's. I'll wrap there and I'll take questions because you need to sort of embrace this sort of stuff and innovate with it, really. Okay, putting intent into the hands of the 450 sellers in the last 2 weeks alone has come up. One campaign. 160 active sellers. You do this. Oh, back up again. 160 active sellers have talked to 2,600 customers, 18% conversion rate, 7.3 million. That's an ACV. That's about 22, 23 million TCV. That's out of 1,700 customers concluded, and there's still another 900 customers in progress. This is how powerful this stuff is. And I'm not saying, just in case the guys get their heads too big, this is not exclusively down to intent, but it's a mixture of different data sources to try and just get to the right customer at the right time with the right value proposition. Okay? So, and you can see now, look at the conversion rates are going up and up and up and up and up because it's learning. It's learning what's working and what's not. Okay? So, sorry, there was a question from the floor. Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Des Lynch. I work for an American company called CenturyLink. Well, I'm based in London, but I'm Irish, so a bit mixed up here. Anyway,
there's three of us in the room, actually.
Question for you: how do you change the mindset of individuals and functions, background functions within the organization, like IT department or maybe people who run Salesforce, in order to make this happen? Because obviously you within marketing cannot make this happen on your own.
The trivia answer is you can do it with scars and persistence and all that sort of stuff, and it takes time, simple as that. But the most practical answer to your question, with numbers. Prove it with revenue. And what I mean, and the way we did it in Citrix was we started a prototype. We tested it with digital sales and with field sales in Nordics in a sort of safe environment to bug it out and go through all the learnings, and we could see the conversion rate going up and up and up and up and up. Suddenly the executive team started taking notice of, oh, wow, if you can do that there, can we go broader? And at the same time then is when then I go to IT and say, I need this change fix done now. By the way, CEO is saying, I need this with our sales blitz in 2 weeks, with everything has to go. You start by building credibility. Prototype, prototype, prototype. Prove the efficacy of your approach. And once you've got numbers, no one can challenge the numbers. Don't just say, oh, we should do this. Do not lead with PowerPoint. Skunk work it to show that it works. And if it works, then good. If it doesn't work, then don't do it. If it works, and then the numbers stack up, say, look, we did it as a pilot down here. If we can scale this up, work out the numbers, show the opportunity cost of not doing it, the potential impact on pipeline if you do it, and suddenly everyone's bought in. No one will be able to push back anymore. Yeah.
Hello,
Susanna.
Susanna.
Hello.
Can you guys hear me? Yes, okay. Susanna from Nokia. it's a very quick question. Who do you give access to see your Power BI dashboard? Is it marketing, or does sales have access to it as well?
If I could, I would get access to about 800 people. At the moment, if I gave access just to marketing, there'd be 8 people. We have given access to this to all our marketing agencies. So all the marketing agencies who do call downs for us now have exactly this tool. And guess what? Their conversion rates have gone. We do call downs. You guys guess we do call downs as well, external agencies. The conversion rate from the call downs has gone up and up and up and up and up and up. But that would only be 20, 25, maybe 30 people. Sales, field sales, digital sales, sales engineers, channel sales, account managers, sales support. Everybody. Who wouldn't want to know what their customer is looking at, thinking about, doing? Who would not want to know that?
People were leaking it out early too, wasn't that? Didn't you say they were passing their logins around? Or?
Yeah, we did a launch in Orlando at Citrix Summit, where we did a sort of soft launch. Before we deployed Edison, which is the whole sort of package there, we wanted people to start using Priority Engine and the HG tool. And we switched it on for about 300 salespeople, 200 salespeople. And we gave them 10 minutes to find opportunities, and within literally 10 minutes, they'd never seen that interface before, the PE interface. Within 10 minutes, we had millions of pipe. But what was also interesting was it went viral. We had sent them a login, because I was trying to provision just for those folks, and they started saying to their support engineers and the solutions experts and their channel guys, oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. We need to go and use this to go and crack Nokia or go and crack BT or whoever it was. So everybody was using it, absolutely everybody.
Yeah, hi there, James Galvin from Dell Technologies, just over here.
Hey, James.
So really appreciate your presentation. I think it's really interesting, in fact. What's your big next step? So this is stuff that you've already got sort of in motion. What's the 2.0 sort of version of marketing operations inside of Citrix?
Apart from some of the technical stuff, which is like more advanced AI and all that sort of thing, the big thing I want to do next is, where does Citrix as a market really exist, as opposed to where do we think it exists? I haven't showed you here, but the gold is really in not the 5% of customers who become opportunities, or the 2%, but the 98% of customers who do not become opportunities. If not, why not? We ring you up and you don't convert to an opportunity. Do you mind me asking you why? Okay. And if you want to grow your market share as a company, you don't sell more stuff to your existing customers. If I want to grow Citrix market share, I have to win customers from VMware, from F5, from my competitors. Why is the guy opening up a bank account with the other bank? It's not, a lot of companies become very self-obsessed with their product. What we're going to do with this is mine over the course of the last 9 months, even in prototype, we've talked to about 20, 30,000 different customers now. And again, even with our good conversion rates, 90% of those customers said, no, thank you. But guess what? I now know why. Because we've captured all that. We can now discover where the real market is. If I can see, I can start to correlate between customers who said no, who had budget constraint or with competition, or it was, all these different attributes I have now, and I can sort of cross-segment that with verticals and their tech stack and all these things. I can see that the market for product X is not just where we think it is there, but the market for X is actually here, 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 and here. There's actually multiple use cases. Companies tend to think that their product does X for Y person. It doesn't. There's multiple use cases out there, and using this type of approach, you can actually explore the market and see where it is. So I also use an analogy of like battleships or radar, that you can use this sort of approach to discover where the market is. So the next big step is what I call the market feedback mechanism, which is to show us what we've learned by talking to all the customers. Because if you want to grow your market share, you need to know why the 90% of customers who aren't buying your stuff are not buying your stuff. Where am I?
Hi, my name's Jennifer Potter from Splunk. We agree about data being key to driving everything. One of the things from my business point of view is I'm keen because I don't think we have that level of business intelligence at the moment. You talked about proof of concept.
Yeah.
Sorry. As a percentage of the total budget, if you can't declare how much you spend, could you give me a rough idea on what that
Of the marketing budget?
Yeah, what it costs to develop that proof of concept.
Come on, I'm not good at maths. 2%? Nothing. 1 year. But that 2% will return over multiple years. Proof of concept, yes. But once you've done the proof of concept, I didn't have to scale much more. I didn't have to spend, let's say, the proof of concept, even though it was only used by, let's say, 10 or 15% of the sales and marketing community, when I switched it on for everybody, my cost did not rise proportionately. So I had to expand my costs for some more licenses, but the returns were already there. So, and this is the thing, work smart, not hard. 2% of your budget invested in this sort of stuff will smash your ROI. Yeah, fine, go blow your budget, keep doing the same events. Do it, keep going. It is an ineffective way to spend your marketing budget. Spend your marketing budget on data. Spend a little bit of your marketing budget on, working with people who understand how to weaponize it a little bit. Work with the Colin Mitchells of the world and the customer success people from your other vendor partners. And there's someone there who's dying to show you how to use their stuff for different use cases. That's how you completely transform your ROI for marketing. Yes.
Hi Barry, super interesting presentation. I'm from Slack, I'm also based in London but Irish, so a little bit confusing. It's funny you should say about events. I would be really interested to know how you're integrating the data you're getting from TechTarget and Dun & Bradstreet with also the more traditional channels like events into this Edison project. Can you combine those, or?
The truth is, the more we learn, we're discovering more and more and more and more use cases. We haven't specifically looked at events yet, but the thing is, as soon as we started doing it, everyone's going, oh, can I have some, can I have some, can I have some, can I? And my biggest problem right now is to know which projects to focus time on. I know darn well that if I sit down with the people who run the events, how can we use all this stuff to better profile the people who have been at events? I think with events in general, with events, that sort of funny one that says, is it marketing influence? Is it really demand gen? It's this sort of funny thing. But the thing with events is, I think the way we're thinking about it at the moment is, how can you use intent with events to accelerate existing opportunities? Because events aren't really about demand gen. They can be, but they're very long cycles. Is using this to in that view I showed, if we send someone to an event or an executive briefing or whatever it is for a customer who's already in a cycle, does that speed it up? And we had a bit of a test around that just before Christmas, and we targeted customers for exactly that purpose, and it worked really, really well. But I mean, come talk to me afterwards and we can spin it out more.